Welcome back to another episode of DIY Golf Car Garage. Today we're continuing working on our 2010 Club Car Precedent. Today we're going to be installing a rear seat. It's not your ordinary rear seat. This is an Elite Max 5. Sounds impressive. It actually looks very impressive. And it should when it comes with about 8 pages of instructions. We're going to see if we can't make this just a little bit more simple to get this thing mounted on the car. So let's go get started. Okay, the first thing the instructions tell us to do is to remove everything that's going to get in our way, such as the roof, our bag strap. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and take off the cushion. There's cushion assembly. We're going to take off this columns on the back that has our sweater basket. So let's go ahead and get all this out of the way. Okay, now that we got the seat back out of the way, we're going to take the bolts out on the back. There's one on each side. And the front portion of the columns. Get that out of the way and let's set this whole assembly out of the way. Now to remove our 2 supports that are left. Now to install our new supports. Now if you'll notice, on the inside there will be either a D or a P imprinted, of course, for driver or passenger side. Of course, this says driver's side. We've got to align the little notch up. Longer portion of the mounting will go to the back, and we'll use our original hardware to mount these back down. Okay, one of the first things we're going to do now that we got these up is get these little plaques, and you'll notice that they're marked right hand and left hand. And since we are working on the Club Car Precedent, you'll notice there's a CCP. These actually line up with these holes. And inside one of your parts bags, it's going to be these little recessed bolts. They'll go in, line up. On the back side, we'll put a washer in one of these lock nuts and get them tightened down. We'll actually go all the way around, installing all 4 of these plates. Now they got the plates securely fastened on the back portion of the seat back. We're going to utilize the inside 4 holes. They give us threaded rods. These little threaded rods, you'll notice that there's a short end. That short end is what we're going to actually screw into the seat back assembly. Now we put the seat back onto the plate and bolt it on. And we'll do the very same thing to the other seat back assembly. Now this does have adjustments, so you can actually set it however high you want it. This one, we're going to sack it from the top. Now that looks good. Now let's get started on the main frame. Now with the armrest, what we'll do is we'll take the square nuts, drop in them into the holes provided. And we have the threaded rod portion. The short end is going to go in this one. That way we can slide it right in. We'll put our washer and lock nut. And on this end, we'll put our lock washer, our flat washer, and then we'll put the bolt up into the nut. And we'll tighten it all down. Okay, now it's time to put our seat cushion on the seat base. What we're going to do is put it where the tag is towards the back. So it will fit on here like this. But to actually mount it, what I'm going to do, sit it back off. The screws do come here. They're the ones that's got the Phillips head on it. We'll start with the center one. We're going to put that bolt through. On this side, put our strap. This will be what we grab to actually lift the seat up when we need to get to it. Put this up, align it. There we go. And we'll just tighten it up. Okay, now that we got that center bolt in, we can actually go all the way around, putting in the rest. Now we do not want to tighten them all up till we get all of them in. Okay, now we've got some brackets that we've got to install on the underside of the seat. This is what assists holding the seat onto the car. The little bracket will actually mount up to this upright right here, but first we've actually got to mount it to the car. So, in the bag left, 2 longer bolts and 2 shorter ones. We're going to use the 2 longer ones and go from under the seat through this assembly. Use our washer nut and we'll put one on each side. Okay, before I get this good and tight, what I'm going to do to make things a lot easier is get the shorter bolt that's going to go through up there and go ahead, put it through here, bring it back down, and go ahead and finish tightening it up. Okay, I've got the bolts in. These are good and tight. So next what I'm going to do is lift this up, put it through this hole here, and go ahead and put the washer and locking nut on the back side of it to give it some support. This is one of those areas where you might want to get someone to help you lift this thing up. Okay, now as for the seat base support bracket, this will actually go right on top of where the rear bumper is. It goes up, and there's an aluminum bar under here with a hole already in it. What we're going to do is take a bolt, a couple of washers and a nut, and we're going to go through this bar, through the aluminum plate, and mount each one. Because once we get these mounted, we've got to drill 2 holes for some longer bolts. So let's get this thing up going. Okay, now that this is secure up here, in these 2 holes, I want to take a 1/4 inch bit and drill all the way through this plastic so that the bolt that goes in here will hold this against that. Okay, now I'll take my bolt with a small washer on it. I'll locate the washer that's a lot larger to go on the back side. Now let's tighten it down. Okay, now to put our footrest on. Got the bracket back here in the back with 2 holes in it, which will mount with the 2 holes on each side. We'll just get our bolts that come in the kit, go ahead and put it through the top holes first, and then we'll crawl under and put it on the underside. Now when mounting this top bolt, be sure when you put it through here, there's a black washer. It's going to go between this bar and this piece here for the footrest. That'll allow for this to rotate because this will rotate up. Just a little thing to help you out. The bottom bolt on each side can come out, especially once you get this bar on, and this will actually rotate up. The bar will come up here, hold on to give you a lot more room, just in case you need that little bit of extra room for parking. Okay, now last but not least, we're going to put our rear safety bar on. You want to put it on to where the bar is actually going outward. We'll put it in here, making sure the brass nut is towards the inside here. We have 2 shorter bolts that'll go on the underside through the aluminum into a brass nut that's already inside here. Okay, before we completely tighten that nut and bolt up, let's go ahead and put our keepers in. Once you get these in, don't forget to go back on the underside and tighten these bolts. Well, I hope today's episode was helpful in installing an Elite Max 5 rear seat assembly. And before you ask, yes, I did have a lot of parts left over because this seat assembly is actually made to where it will fit multiple models. Remember, all parts and accessories that we install here are ready for purchase on our website. DIYGolfCart.com. Be sure to look us up on Facebook and like us. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe. And once again, thank you for visiting us here at DIY Golf Cart Garage.